an advocate, and I am also a teacher. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone who are currently watching this today's session. As we begin our conversation, I would like to ask everyone to like and share the link to this session. You may share this to your colleagues, school personnel, and friends because today's session is all about family, teachers, and the school. So once again, my name is Norma Bardos-V, and I am from the Philippines. Likewise, you may share your insights through our live stream comment section to further our discussion. This session will not be possible without the leadership of the International Internship University, or IIU. International Internship University, or IIU, is a leading virtual education system and global brand confederance, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well-reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all young learners of the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit Sir, a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. So this evening, we will be discussing more about the positive relationship between the family and the school. So please allow me to share my screen. So without further ado, we'll begin our discussion. Since I've mentioned already the title of our discussion tonight, I would like to see our friends in our Facebook to please key in your comments, key in your insights, and key in your perspectives about positive family and school relationship. So with this one, I would like to say that I started my teaching vocation when I was just 19 years old. And from then on, my life has been challenging, but rewarding because of serving children, the youth, and professionals like you. Because I know tonight we'll have many teachers in our portal right now. So my advocacy, Every Child Can Succeed, started with a belief that every learner needs a champion, someone who has faith in their potentials, in their dreams and aspirations, of course, and someone who can lift them up and share wisdom. But how can we, parents and teachers, be their champions in this time of pandemic or this time of season that we are having this kind of illness, the virus, and the new normal way of education? We may be asking ourselves the question, what truly matters? So tonight, please allow me to share with you my journey as an educator and a mom, a mentor, and an advocate for women and children. And more importantly, let's have a heart-to-heart talk about this STAR approach. This is for positive family and school relationship. Once again, my name is Norma Bardos-V, and I am from the Philippines. As you can see in my screen, I have my 5 children by blood and by heart. I have 3 girls and I have 2 boys who serve as inspiration in my life. I have been an educator for more than 2 decades, and I have been this servant in our community for more than 2 decades as well. So I always believe in this quotation. This is actually from my journey, from my experience, that every child can succeed. We just need to believe in their dreams and aspirations. This is my personal quote about learning, journeying, learning, and education through the family and the school. So what truly matters? First and foremost, we'd like to talk about the reality that was brought upon by the pandemic since 2020 in the global scenario. Indeed, this isn't just a medical phenomenon, but it is something that we are forced to live with. It knows no race, no age, gender, degree, and even status in the society. And the most prominent impacts lies on the effects towards the individuals and the society, leading to several experiences of our children and the youth, not only in our own homes, but also in their schools. What we mean is there are several instances where they experience more about stress and anxiety, even inside the school. So what really matters? So for tonight, we'll be dealing with how are we going to understand our children, appreciating what they can do, and being excited from what they can be. Likewise, we teachers and parents can play the role as a parent and a teacher, thus realizing how we can truly provide the love that they need and merely motivating them towards their fullest potential and good values through a suggested approach. So everywhere we go, children and young adults experience a variety of feelings and emotions because they have been dealing with the new normal for several months now. Coping with online distance learning and moving forward through gradual face-to-face learning to full face-to-face learning, and some may still be stuck in a certain place away from their families or school. Indeed, it is difficult to battle not just with the illness, but with a huge impact on both social and emotional aspects among children and the youth and us as well. Now, what do they do? These young generations are currently engaged both in asynchronous, synchronous classes, synchronous learning, on-site learning, or what we call the face-to-face education. And we can see this in the entire global scenario. Many are dealing with different kinds of learning modalities to achieve quality education. The new normal way of learning is new for everyone, and no one was able to prepare for such. Thus, at some point, virtual studying and gradual face-to-face learning become stressors to these children, to young adults, and even us professionals, especially when there is this intervention of the internet connection when we are working or studying, or the learning materials are not available, or even when there is no one around to assist the child, to assist these youth, or to assist us. I can actually see through my children who were studying at home virtually during pandemic. And these days they are not doing, and these days they're doing limited face-to-face classes, or in other countries, they do this full face-to-face classes. In my global education community, I perceive that these young adults and children from various parts of the world have the tendencies to experience so many things, to experience lack of concentration and focus, absence of motivation, eating and sleeping disorder, sudden change in their daily routine, mood swings, I know, sudden change of their behavior, and maybe some of them feel emotional breakdowns. With all this happening around among children and the youth, some of us might be asking the same question: what is my role being a parent and being a teacher? So I know this is very crucial because we are now into the new normal way of living, not just learning, but living. With this one, with the question, what is my role being a parent or a teacher? Can we be considered a significant part of the learning cycle? My big response is a big, big, big yes. We have a large picture in their growth and development that even amidst the pandemic, we can make a difference in the lives of these children. Now, these children are challenged by technology and related factors such as lack of resources, equipment, platforms, internet connections, mismatched, unclear instruction, inadequate information, even cooperation from different sectors in our own countries, distractions such as online and home distraction, and even their coping mechanism. So can we do something about it as a parent or as a teacher? Yes, of course. Then what can be our approach? Now, this time, please allow me to share with you my personal approach, the STAR approach. Now, in this STAR approach actually is my personal method in helping out both my students and my children to cope with their living styles, with their learning styles, and even their coping mechanism when they're actually in school. So we do have role as a parent. We do have different roles. We juggle from one function to another. So we have different roles as a parent. Now, this is our takeaway number one. As a parent, we usually are cheerleaders, psychologists, police officer, dietitian, physician, role model, and even we as a teachers, we all have the same functions as we can see in our screen now. We can be a beautician in their lives. And either we can be a teacher or life planner, because as a teacher, we want to give the best to our students. As parents, we do want to give the world to our children. So basically, we play different roles in the lives of our children. And these are all imperative. Mind you, when I had this STAR approach, I had this difficult situation of dealing about anxiety and depression um within the circle of my family. And it has been a difficult time for us because at the moment that we had that same situation, we really had to talk about it, and we really had to make a family conference about it. And I know maybe some of you will agree with me, those who are watching right now in our Facebook live stream, that there are certain things in our lives as a teacher and as a parent that we do share. We share the same functions, we share the same notion as a caregiver to these children and teens, and we also share the same method. Now, this is the STAR approach, or STAR approach. What is this personal method that I have? S means stand. So as a parent, we do say that to stand, we allow ourselves to be involved in our child's activities in school. We stand by them, by their side, to give our full support. Now, as a parent, we must allow ourselves to be involved, fully immersed with all the things that our children are doing, like doing performance tasks in school and working on a written activity, doing a certain project, asking them what they need, asking them how they can pursue such thing in their education and in their learning. Also stand by them and give your biggest smiles every day. Even, these children are, the lives of our children may not be perfect, but with us giving our biggest smile every day, it's like lightening the beacon for them. As what I've said, stand by them and give your biggest smiles every day, even though their day may not be the best day ever. So we have to be this supportive parent. As a teacher, we have to be this supportive teacher. We always have to be there. Presence is very, very important in the lives of these children and teenagers. We have to do this for them to grow further with much development and achievement in their lives. Now, with standing with them by their side, helping them, supporting them all the way with their aspirations, we have to understand that we have to stand for what is right. That's the second one. There are times in schools when teachers and parents disagree with one another, and I know it happens. And moments when we parents or teachers would like to confront each other. When we are into situations like this, always remember to be compassionate. Now, that's the term. By standing, we have to be compassionate. Be compassionate in dealing. We have to be compassionate with dealing with one another. Standing for what is right, remembering that we are both contributing part of a child's well-being, and compassion is healthy for the learners to feel nurtured and understood by solid partnership between parents and teachers. Parents and school and teachers must have this solid partnership. It's like an excellent partnership that we have to talk about things for the betterment of our students or the learners. So for you, dear parents and teachers out there, let us make a stand. It's one of my advocacies to make a stand to teach and train. Teach your children, teach your students the different kinds of values in life, in their lives. So you need to support them to internalize their values through the value of time. So we always say that time is precious. Time is time is very important because time is an investment. We must need or we must have a certain lifestyle or like a routine because this is the time for our morning sessions with our children, even if it's a toddler or a grade schooler or a high schooler or a teenager. A time for morning hugs and cuddles, this is very important. A time for teaching our kids the value of working on their own time and space, this is very imperative. Some of us are lucky enough to stay at home with their kids. So always treasure every minute of your time with your children and teenagers because time builds relationship. According to one of the books that I really do love, it's all about motivation, and it's written by Peter Tanchi, a Filipino pastor and a writer. It is what you call the magic moments. When you do cuddle your children or your teenagers, when you have the time talking about their lives, you are making magic in their lives. So that moment, that is very magical. Do this in a daily basis because the more we stand, that's S, for our children, the greater our influence to them. So it's really very important that we S stand and we S support and as we sincerely show our love to them. So that stand, that's our first letter in our approach. So letter T, standing and supporting our children is best served with letter T. And this one is what you called more of talking, that's our takeaway number 2, more of talking, more about communicating with them. And it's what you called talk. Now, prior to moving on to talking to your children, to communicating with them through your conversation in your daily lives, we have to remember 8 things. These are the practical things that you can actually do for your children. The first one is to arrange a space for learning. Now, our kids have this special place in our hearts, right? So we need to have a special place for them for their learning. It must not be, it can't that be like extravagant space in your homes, but at least a special place where your kid or a teenager just can sit down and read some books or notes in school. So it's a special place for them. Always arrange a special place or space for learning for your children. The second one is make work-life balance for your children. So when we stand, we support, we sincerely show our love. Prior to talking to them, we have to arrange all this. And making a work-life balance for your children is very important. Why? When we balance our lives, we get to have less stress, right? Now, when we help our children balance their time, their emotions, the things that they do, their studies, their leisure, their hobbies. So when we support them in all these things, we may have a work-life balance for them. We adults must also have this one because this will make our minds have this positive mind setting. So it is good that we have to work on this one for us to have a better life with our children. Now, I would like to see some comments in our comment section here. I can see here how to balance work, school, and parenting and find time to self-care. Yeah, this is very important. Keep in mind that you are not a teacher. Take breaks and have fun as a family. This is also very important. And I can see that most of you have this thing for loving your own kids. So I know you are doing it well. So right now, let's move on. Aside from making work-life balance for your children, we must understand to provide them with time management tips. Now, we always say the words time management, but we can manage our time only if we can self-manage, if we can do self-management. So self-management is very imperative in the lives of children, of teenagers, and even us professionals and adults. So mind you, also provide them with time management tips, like teach them. A while ago, I told you to teach and internalize the values. One of this internalizing the values is providing our kids, providing our teenagers with management tips. How can we do that? We can practically talk to them. We can practically ask them the things that they do, that they love to do, their hobbies, their me time. So we need to arrange these things. If they have this learning space, if they have this, what you call the other one, the work-life balance, we need to give them these time management tips. You know, it's in the basics that we need to teach all these things to our children, because these things will make them professionals, productive, and innovative people, individual in your own countries. So that one is provision for time management. This fourth one is adjusting your schedule for your children. It is very important that you make time. You need to make time for your children. We teachers, we need to listen to them. You know, listening to our students is lending them our ears and making time for them. It's similar as you being a parent. You know, adjusting your schedule for your children is very important. Making time to allowing them to see your world, allowing allowing yourself to see their world in school. So that's very important. Like arranging a schedule for leisure time, for me time, for happiness time, for family time, for sisters time or brothers time. So you need to at least start with this one when your kids are at the ages 4 to 7. At least they could have this mindset that, oh, I really need to make a time for myself. This is in the future, your children would be able to have a good mind setting, to have a positive mindset, and at the same time, to have a loving heart for the family. So these are all embedded in one. Coping with this kind of situation, loving the family, and not discounting the values being brought by the schools. So for me, this one is very important. Now, with this one, with the schedule, with the time management, with loving the family, one important thing is to assist them in connecting with their friends and explain about the social media use. Now, why is it important to explain about the social media? You know why? For them to understand what is true and what is not true. Nobody will do that to your children except parents and family and the school, especially the teachers. We teachers, we have the responsibility towards towards our children in school, because we are the second parents in the lives of our children. So you have to understand that you need to explain about social media, when to use it, how much time you deal with it in using it, giving them the break, giving them the time for themselves without the use of the social media. We do have what you call expectations versus reality. Now, it's important that we show our kids, our students, the reality of life. And how can we be able to do that? It's by imitating us. But of course, we need to show them the positivity when it comes to dealing with our own lives. Now, positivity enters into standing, into supporting, into that letter S. So that's very crucial. As a teacher and as a parent, we do share the same function, and we do share the same affection towards these children. It's because of love and understanding. Now, the sixth one is basically about reaching out for your child's teacher. You as a parent, you there who's listening right now, if you are a parent, always be mindful to reach out for your child's teacher and arrange for consultation. You know, for teachers, we do mentoring, right? This is one way of, I use one way of telling you that we need to do mentoring. Now, when it comes to parents teachers relationship, it's important that we do consultation. You know, consultation is very imperative. Now, I saw here from one Facebook comment is that from Izo Danelia. I do not know if I read your name right. Good and positive environment always increases students' involvement in the learning process. And I agree with you. It is true because the school and the family have the same purpose. And the common purpose is to make every child succeed. Now, for these children to succeed, we do have to do our part. And as a parent, we need to do this consultation. Consultation makes the lives of all these children happy. If they're happy in school, they will be happy in their homes. And vice versa. If they're happy in their homes, they will be happy in their school. Now, what if the world has this happiness inside the homes and happiness in school? Definitely, the world will be a better, super better place to live in. So this only means that consultation is a part of it. Mentoring for teachers is a part of it. So we need not to discount it. This is very important that we reach out to our child's teacher. Reaching out means showing that we care to these children if their grades or their performance in school is declining. So we need to ask the teacher. We have to be honest as a teacher that these are the things that are happening inside the school. You know, for a parent to know, a teacher must be able to articulate it very well, but with hope, you know, with hope, with love and understanding for children. So that's the sixth one. For the seventh one, we do have to understand them. It says here, don't teach them what to do. Help them understand. Now, we teachers, we transfer learning to our students through variety of methodologies. We have the curriculum, we have the learning materials, we have the teaching methodologies, and we do have the assessments for growth and development. Now, how can we be able to teach them what's right and wrong? The better thing to do, how to teach them, is to fill in the gaps in their hearts and to fill their lives. Know the things that they're going through. Listening is the very key to all communication ways. And at the same time, understanding is showing love and support to these children. Mind you, teachers, they may not be our children, but what if this is the kind of relationship that we have with the school? If there is positivity in the school and positivity at home, definitely everything will run smoothly and everything will go into its purpose to make every child succeed in the future. Now, the eighth one is encourage a growth mindset and create a daily plan. You know, creating a daily plan, parents, is very important. It's not basically getting a paper or a planner and writing everything from the morning up to the evening. It's not basically like that. Creating a daily plan basically means putting everything into its right path. giving our children the direction, the correct direction for them to flourish in the world, not basically making the world ready for them, but making them ready for the world. So this is very important. We have to put our children in the map. It's as if putting our own country in a roadmap. So we have to put the name of our children in the global map. And how can we do that? We adults, we parents, we teachers, we have to take a stand. We have to support them. We'll go back to that S. We have to take a stand. We have to support them. We have to give them and provide them everything that they need. So we need to encourage a growth mindset and create a daily plan. So that's all for stand. Now, to complete that STAR, we do have this letter T. Letter T means talk. As you can see in my screen there, talk to your child with patience and understanding. When you talk to your children, be a counselor. Talk with wisdom and calmness. So when we talk to them, talk to your children with patience and understanding. Talk to your students with patience and understanding, with this compassion, with a passionate heart as well. This has something to do with an open communication. You know, in some countries, hitting a child or scolding them may not be the best condition and may not be that good situation at all. It can it's not really helping them, you know, in some countries. Rather, we need to ask them about how they feel about something. You know, asking these children, how are you feeling? How can I be of help? How can the system be of your service? How can me as your mom help you in your learnings? How can I partake in your task making? How can I be an agent of change? These are the questions that we might be asking. You know, how can we pursue all these things? Mind you, we'll go back to that one. We have stand for S, we have T for talk. It's always towards the child. How can we be of help to them? Now, the first one is focus on your child's strengths. Use visual aids to help your child plan. A while ago, I told you to do a life plan, right? For your children or for your students, but do not discount a visual plan for your students, okay? Okay, so use visual aids to help your child plan. Ask your feelings together. Talk about emotions. Stay calm when you're angry. Now, what are other things that you might want to do? Be willing to apologize. Encourage helping and sharing. To build on the work of schools, families should think about social and emotional learning. Okay, now I want to check from our social media account if you can still hear me. Okay, can I see some thoughts from our Facebook account? Can you still hear me? If I may ask. Okay, so I think, okay. Okay, I will continue. I thought I lost my connection right now. Okay, moving forward, we were talking about talk. We're done with stand, now we're talk. Now it's always towards the child, helping them succeed in the future. Now, what you can see in my screen are the things we need to focus on. Focus on the child's strengths. Now, how can we be able to do all these things? Is it really important to do all these things? You know, it's important to do all these things because with communication, remember this one, with communication, everyone in the support system must be positive and open-minded. This does not apply alone between the learners and the teachers, but more importantly, between the learner's family and the school. If there are things that we must be talked about, it must be for the common goal. Always remember this, to make the child succeed in whatever they do. Because when one sector fails to support, the whole system will crash. This means that when a family or a school fail to provide appropriate contribution, the student's learning process will impede. So always remember about communication. It's setting a positive and mindedness of each member. All right. So now we must understand that communication works well with collaboration. Now, when we talk, we communicate, we collaborate. Now, remember that communication works well with collaboration. Collaboration makes learning less difficult for the learners. It is the cooperation between the family and the school, and between the learners and the teachers. Collaboration gives the opportunity for all sectors to decide and discern for the betterment of one single child. So encourage yourself to do this, to encourage your child to talk. Now, by talking, by standing, stand, T talk, by standing and talking, we mean letter A. So what do we mean by this? It's just to affirm. Affirming your children motivates them towards positive change. Affirming your students, your learners in school, encourages them towards positive change. So for parents, we affirm by being the number one fan of our kid, being the number one or the best cheerleader at home, their number one motivator. For teachers, affirmation must not only be present by getting all the tasks that we need from them or that we ask from them. Rather, affirmation must come from increasing your positive words to lessen their apprehensions. Increasing the words, thank you are great, you are excellent, great job, excellent job, you are amazing, you are truly a great learner. These words, these all motivate them towards their increase of motivation in learning. So remember, dear parents and teachers, to show care and support and communication with your children or your students for teachers is letting them know that they matter. Children and teenagers matter. They are worthy and they are possible. Always remember this. They are worthy, they matter, and they are possible. So that's the takeaway number 3. It's more about motivation. Now, remember, we have to take a stand. We have to support. We have to sincerely love them. Then we need to talk to them. That's T, to communicate and collaborate with them with compassion. Now, the next one is affirmation. We have to affirm, give them phrases, show them that they are worthy, that they are valuable, and that they are possible. And that's one great motivation for our children or your students. Now, in parenting, there is no cut. I missed the word cut there in the presentation. In parenting, there is no cut version. As parents and teachers, we must always be ready to nurture them with motivation. Now, nurturing and motivating, these are important factors to make them grow further and to make them ready for the world. Now, when we motivate, we have this thing here. M is for modeling, because children imitate us. Children copy us. So we need to practice what we preach. We need to be a role model. We need to do what is right. We need to set as an example. Now, O means open communication. We need to open our hearts. We need to show these kids, wherever you are, you may be in the Philippines or in Singapore or in Malaysia or in Egypt or in Russia or in America or United Kingdom, wherever you are, as a teacher or as a parent, always open your heart for these kids. Always have an open communication. Now, time. Letter T is time. We've talked about time a while ago. And we said that when we do things with our children, with our students, these are all magical times for them. So always remember that time builds relationship. I, I means inspire. Be an inspiration. When you set as an example, when you set as a true cheerleader and motivator, as a parent and a teacher, you are setting an example. You are an inspiring person for this younger generation. Also, learn to visualize their future, provide direction and purpose. Always tell them their direction, teach them what needs to be prioritized, teach them, let them internalize, teach them how to internalize their vision, provide them or equip them with the right kind of ingredient or components to set a vision, even at a younger times. Remember that when we ask our kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? We usually ask little ones like this question. Now, usually they respond, the usual response is their parents' job or, excuse me, their teachers' hobbies. So always remember that these kids, these children, these teenagers look up to you. So provide direction and purpose. Do not discount that. That's very important. Now, A is affirmation. When we affirm, we encourage positive change. When we teach and train, and we internalize values. And when we do and trust, we teach them about faith in God, in whatever religion or whatever race or whatever faith you have in life. Always entrust your children and teenagers to a certain kind of faith, a faith that you believe in. Now, remember to show love, motivate with love. Now, L is listen, B is being open-minded, O is offer help, make yourself available. This is the reason why we talk about presence, because presence is very important. Now, V, what is V? V is always do the voice modulation. Parents, some of the parents like me, we sometimes shout, right? We sometimes scold our children. We teachers, we tend to have this behavior where we cannot control our emotions. But one key to a positive relationship is voice modulation. So always try to have a good sense of communication by doing the first step. Have a better voice modulation. Now, another thing is to complete love, is to empower and encourage. Remember, S for stand, T for talk, A for affirm. Do not discount letter R to complete the star. And this one is renew. Now, I know, dear parents and teachers, you are blessed with wonderful children or learners in school. So bring out the best in you as a parent and as a teacher. Try to renew your commitment to your children, commitment to your students by committing yourself once again to their growth and development. One personal thing that I've experienced is when my child dealt with anxiety or depression. It's truly painful and difficult, but as a parent, I always try to bring out the best in me in making crucial decisions. It was really a tough time for us. By being brave enough to change the way we see things, that's a good step. You may say it's impossible to change our ways, but please always believe that you are possible by changing the way you see things. Change the way you see things. Remember, parents and teachers, we cannot give what we don't have. So let us renew our love for our children on a daily basis. Let us be the first person but in doing this kind of stuff, like renewing our commitment, committing ourselves to our children, being possible to make them possible, be feeling worthy so they can feel worthy as well. Let us be mindful that that with children being loved, they tend to accomplish amazing and wonderful things. And you are their number one motivation. So always try to renew, and that's our fourth takeaway. Love and live, renew your commitment. Now, how can we be able to renew our partnership with our children? Try doing this on a daily basis. Hug your child on a daily basis, in the morning, after school, before sleeping. Tell your child how blessed your life is with them. Eat and play together. When you do play with your kids, put away all the gadgets. For the teachers, if hugging is not okay in your country because of the pandemic or the COVID-19, try to find ways or means to show your love, to renew your partnership with your students, with your children. Now, praise your child's accomplished tasks and make time listening to their stories. Try to listen. And this one is very important. This is huge for children nowadays. Do not compare them to anybody because every child is unique. Now, this is what I
I'm
mean.
Siri. Pleased to meet you.
I'm so sorry, my Siri is working right now. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that I talked about. STAR approach, STAR, stand, talk, affirm, and renew. I had this STAR approach in 2019 during the pandemic because this approach helped me out in making myself not a perfect parent or a teacher, but somehow perfection comes in when I do have the support of the people around me, like the entire family or the entire learning community or your school. So always remember that. Now, I would like to add this one. It's my ACTS approach. Now, I gave this to our parents in our school here in the Philippines. I gave this to Letran Kalamba, and I also shared this in Singapore, the HFS school family in Singapore, the ACTS approach. Now, what is this? Ask. Ask about your child's feelings, dear teachers and parents. Talking things over with a parent can help the child feel less stressed. Ask and affirm. Together, you can think of better ways to cope. You try to solve the problem together. When you try to work things out, it feels better. You feel like you are truly a family. It feels like you are not just a second, you teachers are not just a second mom or dad in school, but you become a true parent when you try to solve the problem with your students. Now, ask, because A is ask, C is create. Create happy memories with your child. Because, creating a happy memory is creating a happy life for them. Together, you can make meaningful memories, and I am sure of that. Now, T is talk, once again. Now, talk about growing and making progress. Have a time to talk to your child every day, to your students every day, and listen. Always try to give your ears. Lend your ears. When you lend your ears, try to put your heart with it. So take time to talk things over and have a positive communication. Now, another thing is, and the last one, is to serve. Try to serve your children with love and understanding, because serving them is teaching them the value of hard work and setting them as a good example. Always remember this, because together you can make a difference. Now, this is the last thing that I would like to share with you. Always remember that every student deserves to be inspired by a passionate parent, by a caring parent, by a knowledgeable teacher, like you, teachers and parents, who curates every lesson and brings the curriculum to life by making it meaningful, enjoyable, relevant, and vibrant. Always remember to be the champion in your child's lives. Be the champion. Believe in the impossible and trust that every child can succeed. We parents and teachers are born to make a difference. Hope you had a great time with me, and I hope you had a great time reading the slides that I provided. And if you do have questions, you might want to communicate with me as well. But before that, I want to leave you that at the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is a positive involvement of parents and of teachers. This is according to Jane D. Hall. Stand, try, repeat. If you did already, if you're done with if you're done with star, if you're doing the acts, try to do STR. You try to go over it again. You know, life is a cycle. Let's support our children. Let's support our learners. If you do have questions, you may email me in this email, or you may contact IIU for this one. Don't forget that you have me, Miss Norma Bardos-V, an educator in the Philippines. I'm also a mentor, women and children's advocate, and I can be always of service to you and to your learning community. Yun lamang. And that's all. Thank you very much, and God bless you.